Wanting something does not manifest your desires. Actually, it's an affirmation of not having it. It broadcasts lack. However, commanding something, that's what shifts your reality. And when you truly command from an aligned place without fear, without doubt, that's when everything starts working out in your favor. So, what is this phenomena where when you decide something to work out, it works out? I'll share with you three concepts that will move you from wishing, hoping, and praying to deciding, commanding, and manifesting. So, number one concept that you need to know is duality is reality. So, in our world, everything that we see, everything that exists has duality, the dark and the light, the day and the night, the good and the bad. So, what does that mean about yourself? So, internally, we also carry this duality. Our inner world is full of duality: faith and fear, doubt versus belief, worry versus certainty. Everything carries this duality. And why that matters to you, in order for you to move from a place where things starts working out for you, whether you want more wealth, abundance, freedom, wanting to create a bigger impact. And when you start recognizing the duality within you and becoming aware of that what you are feeding more, because whatever we feed, that's what expands. The more we feed worry and fear, we become more afraid. We carry more worry. But the more we feed faith, ease, peace, the more we expand that energy. So, this is why the duality is really based on what you are feeding. If we look at from a conscious and higher perspective, when we feed more positive, when we feed more light into the world, the more light gets reflected back to us. The more positive we are, more positive experiences we have. The more grateful we are, we experience more goodness to be grateful for. So, all of that is really, in the essence, what it is saying: what you feed will expand. So, what I want you to really pay attention to: what are you feeding? Are you feeding worry? Are you feeding sadness? Are you feeding guilt or shame? Or are you feeding love, joy, peace, abundance, ease? And the more you feed those emotions, more you expand that into your reality, and your reality will start expressing itself to the desire that you have, rather than expressing itself to what you don't want. Because like I said earlier, that your desires are only going to be manifested not by wanting, but actually commanding, actually believing, actually embodying. So when you do that, your reality starts shifting. So why wanting something does not manifest? Because when you want something, you are actually broadcasting that I don't have it. And when you broadcast I don't have it, that is the energy and frequency you are matching in the universe. And that's why wanting does not give you what you want. Wanting actually repels what you want, because it is misaligned energetically. So imagine that as we talk about duality is reality, imagine a woman who has big ambition, big desire. She wants to change the world. She wants to create an impact. She wants to be wealthy and abundant. She wants to have freedom. These are all her desires. But actually, within herself, she fear, she worry, she feels it's not going to be possible. She's going to think that, oh, what if it's too hard to be successful? What if it requires a lot of money to be successful? What if things will be harder for her because challenges in her life that showed her patterns that her life was difficult. So within internally, her internal self is operating in that suffering and that pain, whilst her desire are opposite to that pain. So the duality of desires, right? So when the desires are completely opposite to the feeling, the inner self, the way that woman feels, then she is actually feeding her worry. She's feeding her pain. She's feeding her fears rather than the desire itself. So this is why the desire itself will not manifest, because the desire itself is not being expressed. It is not aligned with the inner world of that woman. So she will always find herself stuck in that pattern and the loop of wanting so much but not having so much, finding herself stuck without a breakthrough, without a transformation, without a change in her life, because she is not aligned internally with her desire. She is not feeding her desires, and that's why it will not manifest. So the only way she can change that, by feeding her desire internally, by moving into that joyous place, by moving into the peace, by moving into the light to create more light, by moving into the frequency of abundance to create more abundance. That's what will shift her reality, by becoming in alignment with her desires. The second concept is remembering instead of becoming. Most people think they have to become something. They are in that race of becoming. They want to become successful. They want to become happier. They want to become wealthier. But ultimately, that race to becoming keeps you in the race of becoming, because the more you think that you have to become, you are actually in separation from where you want to go, because becoming is always becoming. It's a never ending loop. It's an infinite loop of becoming. We are never moving into that state of being that is already it. And from my example, if I tell you, in my 20s, I was always putting that joy, that happiness on pedestal, that one day I will find peace, one day I will be happy, one day I will be successful, one day. So I was in that seek and this process of becoming that version of me that will eventually become successful. But by doing that, I was actually pushing away the success. I was pushing away the happiness. I was pushing away the wealth and abundance that I was meant for, because I thought I am not ready. So that's where the another aspect of that duality, that we want to become, but we don't feel that we are ready to be, right? So there is a disconnect and separation from being. And that's why this concept of remembering, because everything in the universe already done, it is already provided, it is already complete. There is no process of becoming. It is only human being, they think that there's something needs to happen in order for them to become. But from a universal perspective, from higher perspective, it is already done. There's no like one day you will become. It is already it. It is already done. So the process is not about becoming. The process is remembering. Remembering who you are. And every intuitive hit, every signs of lands. What are the signs of lands? The signs of lands are any synchronicity, any coincidences, any angel numbers, any signs that you see that are signs of land that actually reminding you that who you are. So this is why it is about remembering, because you already are. You were born happy. You were born abundant. You were born loved. You were born that way. So it's not, and most of us have forgotten that who we are, our true essence. And when you start remembering your true essence, that you are loved, you are abundant, you are whole, you are complete in every possible way, then you start shifting. Most people, they carry a lot of shadows, a lot of pain and challenges, and they carry that. And because the world doubted them, the world did not give them that love and attention that they deserved or desired, they start buying into the however the world was mirroring for them. So if the world was cruel, they will start operating in a way that I have to protect myself from this cruel world. So they will start shrinking themselves, contracting themselves to hide, to play small because the world was so cruel. But ultimately, the world was expressing itself the way it was expressing itself because the person was carrying those wounds around, not good enough, not worthy enough. Because the person itself carries these wounds, the world will mirror those wounds. That is the deeper truth that we have to understand, because everything is a mirror. And that's why when you start shifting internally, the external world starts shifting. When you start loving yourself more, the love starts showing up. When you start feeling abundant and wealthy, the wealth starts showing up. It is all internal, because internal reality mirrors the external reality. So instead of focusing on the world, what the world is doing, focus on what am I doing to myself. And when you start realizing actually you've been carrying that pain, you've been carrying that sadness, you've been carrying that anger or maybe resentment within yourself because of how the world treated you, maybe the way your caregiver treated you, those wounding are kind of dictating the reality the way it is expressing. This is why I do the deeper work with entrepreneurs, leaders, and professionals who want to change their external reality. So we work on their internal reality to change that. And when we release those core wounding that tell them that world is cruel, that things are harder, the life is challenging, the income is not the way I want to, the impact that I want to create, it is not happening, we change it internally and the external world changes every single time. So when we change internally, external world change. And the way we change internally by remembering who we are in our core essence. And when you remember who you are deeply, congruently, that's when you start moving from that state of being that command the reality. Because the truth is, the more you believe that outside has to change in order for you to feel happy, the more you are giving your power to the outside. You must recognize, you must command that internally for the world to accept it externally, because the world changes the way you look at the world. World changes based on the way you perceive the world. It is us changing from within. That's when we change the world. So the next one that is really, really key in order to decide and command that reality instead of wishing and hoping and praying is embodiment of that inner leader. Because within all of us, there is an inner leader. So awakening that inner leader within you changes everything, because when your inner leader is awakened, and what does that mean? So let me give you an example. Somebody who grew up always being shut down. So they were told that you are not allowed to speak. Your voice doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. And that person grows up becoming very ambitious and wanting to do things. And they have a voice, but that voice was shut down over the years, that because of the people, because of the judgment, because of the rejection, that voice was shut down. So because that voice was shut down, they suppressed their inner leader. They were not able to embody who they truly are, because every single human has ability to command a room and be that presence that shift rooms and become bright light. Every single human has that capability. But somebody who's been shut down all their life, they will operate in the world, doesn't matter how hard they work, they will operate always, their voice does not matter. So they will not speak up, they will not say what they feel, they will suppress, they will try to hide, they will feel it's dangerous to express themselves. So what would that do? That will keep that inner leader completely shut down. They will not be awakened. But when they start speaking up, when they start commanding, when they say they matter, their voice matter, their truth matter, when they start doing that, the world will start responding differently, because the world will change the way you look at the world. Because the truth is, until you build that certainty, that command, that demand within yourself, the world will try to suppress you, because the world is only mirroring. So if you feel you are not good enough, the world will keep suppress you to keep confirm that belief that you are not good enough. And when you stop taking that in as the truth, and you start saying, no, I am good enough, I am worthy, I am going to speak up, I am going to stand up for myself, you are now commanding that inner leader to be awakened. So now you will, when you speak, the world will listen. They will stop suppressing you, because they were only responding to the inner pattern you were holding on to. So, for example, when I started my YouTube journey, I started posting videos initially was because I had no way to express myself, because my world was telling me that I am not good enough, that I have no voice, I have no value. So I had to process that in some ways. The only way I could process it by expressing it through this way, through a camera, because in my reality I did not have anyone who was willing to listen, right? So I used that pain of not having somebody who would listen to what I have to say. I started expressing myself through videos. That made my inner leader to be awakened, and that actually shifted the way people started perceiving me. So my external reality started shifting because I started commanding, I started saying no to things, I started creating boundaries, I started remembering who I am, and I used this vessel of speaking through a camera to express myself fully. So that is what allowed me to start embodying that inner leader within. And the more I embodied that inner leader within, the world started shifting for me. The right opportunities, the right people, the right clients, it are all coming through because I embodied that inner leader within, knowing that who I am. So this is why it is such an important thing for you to realize, to embody your inner leader, because your inner leader speaks with certainty. It speaks without fear. It speaks with radical self-belief, because the more you believe in every word that you say, the more you are commanding the reality to shift in your favor. Your desires become the embodiment of you. So if I see myself as somebody, as a leader, as a speaker, then I am embodying that desire by speaking, by communicating, by showing up in front of thousands of people. Is I am commanding that This is my command. And because I'm commanding that, my reality has shifted to make that true for me. I could just visualize it. I could just affirm it. I could just keep thinking about it, but that would not shift. That would be a incongruent desire. The congruent desire, when you truly want to change it, you have to embody it. You have to speak it. You have to show up in that way. So if you want to be an author, if you want to be a speaker, if you want to be a coach or a mentor, if you want to have multi-million-dollar business, you must command that in the now. You must become it. You must become it. You must remember it in this moment that this is who you are. And when you move from that decision that I am already it, I am already that version of me that has it all, your reality starts moving faster because you're owning it. You have become it. And the more you become it, you be it, the more you are collapsing the time, the distance between your desire and who you are. The desire will start becoming your reality because you are changing who you are. You are embodying that inner leader within that allows you to change what you see externally. Does that make sense? So this is how, when you decide that it is going to work out, everything works out. When I decided that I want to step into being a speaker, I want to step into that version of me that is serving thousands and thousands of clients and people around the world globally. When I stepped into that identity, the world responded. The YouTube started going viral, videos started performing well, the world responded, the reality started shifting because I decided. You decide, you command, you move because you are the co-creator of your own reality. And I trust this video has given you exactly what you need to really know, instead of wishing, hoping, praying, you are collapsing time by being that self who is commanding the reality, to owning their desires, to move faster rather than holding yourself back. So if you want to go deeper into this work to allow yourself to move into that version of you that is shifting and creating an impact, then you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring, where we go deeper into creating that congruency and expanding your wealth consciousness to allow you to embody the version of you that has it all. If you are ready for that, click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Other than that, like this video if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and may the light in me reaches the light in you.